So let's be honest, these days it's quite easy to go into the whole doom and gloom of the world at large and also even the car industry, you know, that things don't necessarily seem to be going the right way, particularly when you think about legacy car makers, the traditional car companies, then you kind of, you have to worry about them. However, having said that, there is cause to celebrate when it comes to actually the biggest car company in the world still, so far. That might be overtaken next year by some Chinese company, I'm not sure, it's quite possible. But so far, Toyota, of course, remains the biggest, so they've been vying position with Volkswagen, but I think at the moment it's a clear leader. So Toyota, of course, is the biggest car company in the world. And interestingly, I guess they find themselves in a position where they can afford to do this, but not only obviously is it turning out the Camrys and the Corollas and the Land Cruisers and what it has to do to retain its spot as the biggest car company in the world, but it's saying, you know what, we're also going to go back to building sports cars and coupes and fun little stuff as well. So, you know, there is a full-scale revival of legendary nameplates. Well, the Supra we've had, but the Celica is confirmed. The MR2 apparently is also in the pipeline. And of course, we've had the 86, AE86, GT86, GR86, whatever you want to call it. That's been there for a while, and it's apparently going to continue for a while as well. All of these are dedicated sports cars with powertrains trains ranging from turbocharged internal combustion engines to high-tech hybrids. And remember the luxury arm of Toyota, which is Lexus. And remember the RCF is apparently, I think it's discontinued, at least here in the UK. LFA was obviously only a limited edition supercar. I was lucky enough to drive that one time at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, and oh my god, the engine noise of that. I mean, I could have just stood in the pit lane all day listening to that thing scream past. It just had one of the best engine noises in history ever. Well, you know, they're talking about a return for a supercar for Lexus, and in addition to this, that GR brand, that Gazoo Racing brand that they've got, they continue to put that onto various vehicles to get them to go back to, you know, things like putting GTI badges and stuff to make things more interesting, to make them more sporty. So Toyota is going all in on performance and bringing back these iconic JDM legendary names and creating this serious sporty and sports car portfolio. How much of it is happening? How much do we know about it? I've tried to find out whatever I can. Let's get into all that right after this.
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
Right, so Toyota Celica, GR Celica, I should say, is confirmed. It's going to come back. So you remember the Toyota GT4? So the sort of derivative of the rally bred, because the Celica was a rally champion for a while. So the one that they're bringing back, or the form that they're going to bring it back in, is going to be an all-wheel drive rally-inspired sports car. So likely to have a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, output about 400 horsepower, maybe 600 horsepower if you can tune it up. And they're talking about bringing it back as an all-wheel drive. So the Celica will now be not the front-wheel drive when it was originally out there, but an all-wheel drive. Remember the original Celica? That was actually Japan's answer to the Ford Mustang. If you look back at the original Toyota Celica, it's kind of like a mini, curvier Ford Mustang. You know, right down to some of the garnishes on the bodywork and stuff like that. So it was meant to be Japan's mini Ford Mustang. But of course then it morphed and it became a rally champion and etc. etc. So this actually makes perfect sense for Toyota to bring it back as a rally-inspired four-wheel drive performance sports car. So looking forward to that. The Toyota MR2 revival, this has been in the rumored for quite a while now, and it continues to be strongly rumored. And this rumor was substantiated by the fact that at the 2025 Tokyo Motor Show, they showed a GR Yaris, but the GR Yaris had an engine in behind the front seat, so kind of like a mid-engine setup. And that Yaris wasn't meant for production that we know of, so obviously questions arose as to what's going on there. That one was all-wheel drive as well, so again, it's possible that what we might be looking at for an MR2 is, of course, it will still be mid-engine because it was always mid-engine, turbocharged 4-litre 4-cylinder mid-engine, probably about 300 horsepower, maybe up to 400 horsepower, and possibly all-wheel drive. And that one you'd be looking at in maybe 2026. Celica, by the way, I should have said, we could actually see that later this year. So fingers crossed for that one. And the MR2, I think probably next year. Now the GT86, whatever you want to call it, GR86, you know, it is one of my favorite cars. Driven them many times in the Middle East, and they're just fun little cars, you know, and they were designed with great weight balance, with great gear shift, you know, not a huge amount of power, but just enough to enjoy it. And they were pretty precise sports cars, you know. So the thing about them was that they were, of course, built with Subaru, and in fact when you open the bonnet you saw a lot of Subaru stamps in it and stuff like that. Now this time there is going to be another one, there is going to be a replacement. I think the production will end soon, and then there will be a replacement, probably we're looking at 2027, 2028. So I think the current car probably will continue into next year. Not in this market, because I think in European markets it's been killed off, but I think, you know, in other markets it's still there. But what are we expecting? We're expecting possibly a 1.6 litre turbocharged, maybe a 3-cylinder. So from the GR Yaris, maybe that one. Or possibly they might offer the 2-litre, a detuned version of that, the one that's going to be in the Celica. Or maybe they'll offer both. Maybe this time we'll get a choice, you know. Because one of the criticisms that was always there with the old 86 was that it didn't have enough power. But for a lot of people it was enough power. I always said it's 200 horsepower, there's enough power in that thing, right? Because it's quite light. So maybe what they'll do with the next 86 is they go, right, well, we'll give you that one, but we'll also give you a more powerful one as well. But one thing I think that they will do, and I hope that they will do, is continue to keep it rear-wheel drive and hopefully still offer a manual gearbox. So one of the things that's quite possible, because, and we'll come back to that with the next car as well, is that obviously Toyota has a partnership with Mazda as well, and as you've seen, the Mazda 2 hybrid is actually just a Yaris hybrid. So they could be developing, because obviously Mazda is very likely to continue the MX-5, of course, because it's the world's best-selling two-seater sports car, roadster. It could be that this time, instead of being co-developed with Subaru, they could co-develop with Mazda, so maybe that's what we'll see. And talking of that, the Toyota Supra. Now the Toyota Supra made a triumphant return a few years ago, and it's a good car. I've reviewed it, it's a great car. As a Supra owner, I did struggle with a little fact on the car. And the fact was that when you got in the car, it felt like a BMW, because everything inside was BMW. Because essentially it was a BMW, let's be honest. It was the BMW Z4. And then Toyota, eventually they put a manual gearbox in it, and then BMW followed suit and then would put manual in the Z4 as well. So it was basically the A90 Supra is likely to end production in 2026. We know this not because of an announcement, but because of the production facility. So the Magna Steyr, this is one of the production plants that produces cars for a lot of different companies. So it's in Graz in Austria. And they did recently announce that they were moving things around and certain production was ending. And they, I think maybe inadvertently, did confirm that production for both the BMW Z4 and then hence the Supra, which are both produced there, was going to be ending in 2026. So it's likely that the Supra is going to end in 2026, but I don't think that they're killing off the Supra. I think that they are going to continue it. And again, as I talked earlier about the MX-5 and GT86 or GR86 co-development, I think from everything that I've seen, from all the rumors out there at the moment, is that's what's going to happen with the next Supra. So no more BMW. And as I said, like, I'm a Supra owner. I actually had the Celica Supra, if you like. So it was the A60. And I loved it. And one of the great things that I always thought about cars like the Supra, like the Prelude, like all of these cars at the time, the Starry and Mitsubishi, whatever, is that they were coming from Japan and they were coming to compete dead on with European sports cars. And they were coming into the market and they were saying, like, we're cheaper, we're more reliable, and we're as good to drive. That's what they were doing, and they were doing it very effectively. So it was almost like, it was sort of the Eastern response, to the Western dominance. And then when you got into a new Supra and it's a BMW, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm just weird. I mean, I love BMWs. I love Toyota. I mean, as you know, I own BMWs. I love BMWs, and I'd have a Z4 definitely. I quite like it actually, but it just didn't. This marriage kind of felt weird to me, but you know, but going back to this, and they're talking about now a partnership with Mazda, which actually is a bit unfortunate. If Mazda are looking at bringing back something like an RX-8 or whatever, and then this could be a co-development of this, would they still do a rotary Wankel engine for that car? One hopes so. One hopes so. And they have dabbled in rotary engine, rotary motor in the MX-30 hybrid. Range extender type hybrid system that they've got, so that's what that engine does, because it is compact. So one would hope that if Mazda are going to bring back something like that they would have a rotary engine, but I don't necessarily want a rotary engine in a Supra. I want a straight six in a Supra, because that's what it's already always had. So the powertrain options that are being rumored are that it will be an inline six, possibly hybrid, and then maybe there would be an electric version as well. And it could well be, the rumors are that it could well be developed in, the platform would be developed in association with Mazda. So maybe they will both develop it, but maybe they'll go different directions in the powertrain. So it's good to know that the Supra nameplate is likely to continue. Oh hey, are you liking this video? Then make sure that you hit the like button, make sure that you share, and make sure that you subscribe. How to be an automotive content creator by BC Guy. I've been an automotive journalist for 35 years. I've done everything. I've been Saudi Arabia's first motoring journalist. I've driven vintage Bentley blowers. I've driven Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bugattis, even an F1 car, hung out with F1 legends, presented cars on radio, on TV, at live shows, at major motor shows. But how have I done this? Well, I'll explain everything in my latest book. It's out now. It's on Amazon. How to get into this career, how to be on this same journey, how to get cars, how to review them, what equipment to use, what platforms to get onto, how to turn it into a sustainable career. All of those secrets and more are all in this book. It's out now. 35 years of experience I have poured into this book. Now, we talk supercars. I mentioned the Lexus LFA. What a beast that was. What an incredible thing. The gearbox was probably the only downside of that car, but other than that, it was just perfection in every way, if I remember it correctly. And apparently Toyota is now cooking up a successor to that, a high-performance hybrid or fully electric supercar, probably with the Lexus badge on it. We're looking at, and you know what, we're looking at either a V8 hybrid powertrain or fully electric. Solid state batteries, of course, we know that both Toyota and Honda are in a race to get solid state batteries out by 2026 possibly, and the solid state batteries will be a game changer when it comes to electric cars. But this supercar, probably a little bit later, we may be thinking closer to 2030 on this one. But it would be amazing to see something like an LFA successor. Further down the range with the GR branding, obviously we've got the GR Yaris, GR Corolla. GR Corolla we don't get in the UK. GR Yaris we get in very limited supply here in the UK, which is a shame. And they did put the price up big time on those cars, which is a further shame. But hey ho, it is a wonderful little car. But there's GR Land Cruiser and even GR Hilux. So imagine that. And possibly putting the GR treatment on other vehicles as well, such as the RAV4, such as the CHR, etc., etc. So this is quite extraordinary. So why is all of this good news, especially for enthusiasts? Because essentially, while manufacturers are going around desperately falling over themselves, wondering whether or not to continue developing internal combustion engines or ditch them and go for ICE or stick with hybrids or whatever, they're not sure. But Toyota's like, they're pretty defined. They're like, yeah, okay, we're working on electric cars. We are one of the leaders. Well, they are actually the leader, pioneer, one of the pioneers of hybrid engines. But we're going to stick with the ICE as well. So, they're in a position where they can afford to do that. They can afford to take that gamble because they are the biggest car company on the planet. So if you think about the company that gives us the best-selling Corolla, we get the GR Corolla, 300 brake horsepower, all-wheel drive, hot hatch with a manual gearbox. And also, by the way, they are working on a manual gearbox for electric cars as well. A proper manual gearbox for electric cars. So this is a pattern that only Toyota is working on. There's been rumors and hints, and people have seen patterns, but I think there's been tested as well. So it is out there, it does exist, and it behaves like a manual gearbox. Anyway, let me know what you think. I want to hear from you guys. Which of these brand nameplates, these iconic, fabled nameplates, gets you most excited? I want to hear what car you're looking forward to seeing most, and what you think Toyota should do with it, which direction it should go, who they should team up with, what kind of engines they should have, what kind of drivetrains they should have. Put all of those views in the comments. Make sure that you hit like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to get my books, which are there. fucking point correctly there. 3 books out on Amazon. The latest book, How to Be an Automotive Content Creator, briefly ranked number 3 in US automotive category in America on Amazon, so that's quite good. So hey, check that out. Don't miss out on it because people are buying it clearly. I poured 35 years of my experience on doing this into that book. 35 years. So some people have said to me, it's like, oh, you know, you just got this YouTube channel. No, I've been doing this for 35 years. Now this channel has only been going for 5 years, but yeah, it's a long history. So anyway, check it out, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Shout out time, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, if you enjoy my content, why not get involved? Buy me a coffee. You can do that at either of these links, or if you're watching on YouTube, buy me a thanks or take out a membership. It all helps. It really does.